Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Live. Now, we did say that on Mondays we are all about motivation and inspiring you so that you can have a beautiful week ahead. Now, Jabu Zwane is an inspiring speaker who is here to share his expertise on the 7 mindset wins. These should help you achieve a very, very successful life and also a very good mindset for you to be a professional and successful individual. So, Jabu, please take it over.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Good evening and welcome to Monday Motivation. Thank you so much for tuning in. As Aisha has already said, tonight is time for motivation, especially in a time where there's so many challenges, so many negative things that are happening, so many depressing things that are happening. There are crises that we've got in our country, hearing so many tragic stories, especially the tragedy about the precious Twekwe and what her mother is having to go through to deal with this terrible situation that we as a nation have taken up and realized that we've got to do a bit more to add our voices and to, of course, change the trajectory of a woman and a girl child in this country. It requires all of our efforts. We all have to put, as they say, all hands must be on deck. But this evening, I want to talk a little bit about just the importance of, again, mindset when it comes to motivation and when it comes to bringing better success in our lives. I'm a firm believer in the fact that if you don't deal with your mindsets will deal with you. Many times, people, we want for something material to change in our lives. We want money to change. We want the environment to change. We want the politics to change. We want the economy to change. We want other people to change so that we don't have to. And it is true, having to change is difficult, but it is something that is very, very necessary. And as I've been saying, and I want to just recap on that, mindsets are structured categories of thinking that lead to an outcome, whether we are aware of it or not. The sooner that we understand the categories of thinking that build and lead to the decisions that we eventually take, the sooner that we are able to take charge of our lives. Because, as I always say, you cannot manage what you don't understand, and you cannot lead what you cannot manage. And so it is very important to understand how you think. And the starting point is, of course, about our confidence. I'm finding that a lot of people have a fear of confidence. A lot of people think that being confident is tantamount to being arrogant, is tantamount to pride, is tantamount to looking down on other people. And that could not be the furthest thing from the truth. Confidence is that strong ability or the strong belief in who you are, in what you can do, in what you can achieve. And it's got very little to do with other people, what you think about them, but everything to do with what you think about yourself. And of course, what you think about confidence itself. A lot of people fear arrogance, maybe because of what they believe, maybe because of their religious, maybe because of even with Ubuntu, the strong emphasis on the us more than in the me. Many people fear. I know I struggle with this as well. I struggle with who do I think I am? Who do I think I am to achieve the things that I want to say I want to achieve? Who do I think I am for thinking that I can change life and I can change people and I can contribute meaningfully? And it is such a serious concern, especially that I see a lot with people when I start to coach them much later in life, that many cannot transcend this category of thinking, specifically regarding who they think they are, and especially who they think they should not be or they could never be. And then you start to discount yourself and start to limit the way that you think because of you don't think that you can and you can be who you think you can be and you don't deserve it. The second thing that I want us to think about as far as the mindsets that you're going to build is what do you think about the environment that you are in? What do you think about the environment that you're in? Do you think the environment that you're in has opportunities, has no opportunities, is restricting you, is pulling you down. And do you think, going back to your own confidence, you can do something to change it? You see, many of us place so much power on and the weight on the environment, and we discount our ability to contribute to the environment to change it. And a lot of it again is linked to our background, which is the third thing. Like when we come from, what have you bought into about, again, yourself and about what you can change in the environment and about the impact of the environment on you, and especially when you compare your own power against it, when you put the two against each other, your skills, your beliefs, your abilities, do you see the environment as being more powerful than you? If you think it's more powerful than you, then you're going to discount your ability to contribute to the environment so you can be able to change. What we don't realize many times, and I've shared this quite a few times on the show, that as human beings, we are highly influenceable beings. We are constantly receiving so many millions and millions of data that are contributing to who we are. But it is the moment that we decide to have a purpose, to have a goal, to have a mission, that we start to take charge of what we've received, the information, the experiences, the knowledge that we have received, and channel it now into achieving our goals. And that's how we get empowered. But up until then, we're nothing but a victim of our own lives. And then which leads me then to the fourth thing, which is about limiting beliefs. So we need to understand, what beliefs do we hold that limit us, that maybe shame us, making us feel like we're less, that intimidate us, that basically driving our fears, or that make us feel guilty, which then questions our motives and even the purity of our intentions, especially about, when you're trying to change our lives. A lot of times somebody would say, I don't want to be rich. I don't want to dominate people. I don't want to make people feel bad. And that is driven by guilt. It's driven by the constant questioning of your own motives, where you don't, instead of actually building a strong conviction about who you are as a person, as far as building your character and knowing that I'm this kind of person and I would never cross these lines, you're constantly questioning whether or not you're crossing lines. And the fear of crossing lines is driving you. And as a result, it begins to limit what you can do, what you do, and determining what you also don't want to do. And that's pretty much for me what builds this limiting belief. It is shame, fear, and guilt. The three for me are the three horsemen of apocalypse, especially when it comes to what limiting beliefs are. And then the first thing is about relationships, relationships, relationships. A big part of how we become who we are is connected to who we have around us. If you have people that don't cheer you, that question, or that make you to question your abilities, that make you to question your progress, it's very difficult to have a strong belief in who you are. So the question is, who do you have around you? When was the last time that somebody said, hey, listen, well done, amazing, keep going? When was the last time somebody challenged some of the self-defecating or self-depreciating ideas that you've got, the self-limiting ideas, and actually spoke life into you, spoke encouragement into you, spoke empowerment into you? When was the last time that something like that happened? If that hasn't happened, then there's a problem in terms of who you've got around you. Strong relationships are forged, they're not found. They are built, they're not an accident. There is an intentional process of building an ecosystem of exchange of life. And you must know what kind of life you need from ecosystem. And the only way that you can know that is to have your own vision, to have your own goals, to have your own direction in terms of where you're going. Then you know who you need in your journey, who you need as company in your journey. And the sixth thing is about discipline. And these are just those laws, those private laws that you put yourself under, whether somebody's watching or not. See, discipline is the bedrock of integrity, is the bedrock of self-integrity. When nobody's watching, do you do what you're supposed to do? What is it that when no one is watching that you find yourself taking liberties to do when you know you're not supposed to? That in the end, actually, you lose so much time when you're on your own, and you almost want to put yourself under supervision. If you're not under supervision, then you don't get anything done. Now, discipline is that bridge between intention and execution. It doesn't need you to feel like it. It just needs for you to decide to do it, whether you feel like it or not. And the last thing I want to share tonight is action beyond words and ideas. You see, the true test of the value that you are as a person and actually determinant of your success is, do you act on those incredible ideas? Do you act on the words that you say? Do the words you say or the actions you take match the words that you say? Because ultimately, that's how we're going to judge you as human beings. We're going to judge you based on what you have done, not just what you say. Matter of fact, if what you do does not line up with what you say, we start to mistrust you. We start to call you a hypocrite. So, talk inspires, but action transforms. You don't become what you plan, you become what you practice. Ideas don't change the world, execution does. Do the thing, start scared, do it excited, do it discouraged sometimes, but keep doing the thing. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. I hope what I shared with you tonight helped you to get at least motivated in those 7 areas. My name is Jabu Zwane. Please do enjoy the rest of your programming. Good evening.